Good morning, my friends, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie podcast. I, as always, am your co-host, Brian, and joining me for these morning shows is your co-host, Spaz.
As always, powered by caffeine.
I haven't had any yet this morning. I haven't had any because I had a stomach ache last night, so I've been just keeping it to water and right now. And yeah, I'm definitely feeling the lack of the caffeine right now.
Fair enough.
Oh my God. Friends, it is 6 a.m. here on the west coast of America because we have a guest joining us from, okay, here we go. Deventer in the Netherlands. I hope I said that right. Roy van Appozen. Oh my God. I hope I did it okay. I tried. Of Funcraft Games, here to talk to us about a space flight exploration game he's got in the works called Earth Analog. Welcome, Roy.
Yeah, welcome. Nice to be here.
Oh, it's nice to have you.
My name's pretty nice.
Okay, I really do try. Now, I wish we could have every developer on the podcast, but we can't. But I try to get developers whose games look interesting, and your game looks really interesting. Your email said it was fractal-based, if I recalled correctly, when you initially emailed me. And you look at the screenshots and you look at the video, and you're like, "What is going on here? This is a crazy looking thing." It looks amazing. It kind of looks like if you've seen the Ant-Man movies, it looks like the oh God, what's the micro place they go to? Spaz, you know what I'm talking about? Like the like where the guy's wife was stuck for 20 years. What is that?
I can't remember offhand. I'm sorry.
Oh my God! But you know what I'm talking about, where everything's like really.
I do.
Everything, yeah. What the hell? Ugh. Anyway, it looks like it looks fascinating. So I'd like for you to tell us, like, because yeah, it's a flight game, and that looks awesome. But you're like looking for a new home, I believe. What is the basis? What is the like? Give us the elevator pitch of Earth Analog for those folks who might not know what it is.
Yeah, so Earth Analog is basically a flight adventure game in which you control a spacecraft, a science exploration spacecraft. Your mission is to find a new home for the humankind, an Earth Analog. And what you're basically doing, you're following in the footsteps of a previously sent out a vessel, which wasn't heard of for a couple of years. So now you have to check out what has happened to this other science vessel, and can you ultimately find the Earth Analog? So you have to fly to a segment of the universe, in deep space, and visit all kinds of strange, mysterious worlds, in which each world has its own puzzles, mysteries, which you have to solve. And the final goal is to find the Earth Analog.
Yeah, I gotta say, based on the video and stuff I've seen, a lot of space games, when you go to so-called alien worlds, they all look like Wisconsin or Venus or whatever. But I gotta say, the worlds that you show in the trailer here that we're looping in the background, a lot of them, some of them really do truly look alien. Which I'm guessing is because of the fractal-based nature of how these procedural planets are generated. Can you tell that? And that's one of the big hooks of the game. So can you tell us more about the fractal-based planets that you're going to be using, that we're going to be flying around?
Yeah, so the game is based on a certain technique for rendering, which is called distance field, signed distance fields. And these distance fields, these are generated using mathematical functions. And I played around with these mathematical functions for a long time. You can get really, really interesting results, really strange results. And these fractals are just mysterious on their own. So I thought, well, maybe I can make a space game of this. Because, I mean, space exploration has a certain feel of mystery. I think that's what it should be, like in, for instance, a movie like Interstellar. But these fractals also have this mysterious element. You never know what you're going to get. If I change some parameters, I get a new world. So I tried to combine both, and using this special rendering technique, you can really visualize these mathematical functions. Another benefit of these functions is that they change. If I change some parameters, the whole world changes. We can do a lot of cool puzzles with it. Sorry, can you still hear me?
Sorry. I'm trying a new method of push to talk, and I forgot to unpush. Also, I'm half asleep. So basically, so it sounds like the player will have a little bit of control over the fractalness of things to solve puzzles. Is that what you were just getting at?
Yeah. So I when I create the game, I use the parameters of the functions to create the worlds. The player in the game will find a certain technology, which I call the dimension device, which he can change the fractal nature of the world. So you can go from one dimension of a planet to another, and the world changes around you. It's also shown in the trailer. Yeah, the first part of the trailer shows this principle.
Yeah, and it looks fascinating, and that adds another element to the exploration, because, like, even if you go to a world, when you get this device, you can change that world, so it's not the same world you arrived on. So,
correct. Yeah.
Wow. Because I gotta tell you, exploration is probably my favorite part of any space game, and not a lot of games really try to do it right. I can think of maybe on one hand the games that get exploration that do it really well. So I have to say I really appreciate you going for an exploration focus and not like a combat focus.
No, and there's no combat in this game.
Oh, there's none? Wow.
None whatsoever.
Wow.
You're a science vessel. You don't have weapons,
Oh, God.
The only weapon is your brain.
Yeah, you have your brain, and you can maybe collide with something to crush it, or I don't know. But I mean, when you go to outer space, what are the chances of finding real aliens? So why bring weapons?
That's fair. It's so big. We sometimes forget how big outer space is, because warp drive and hyperdrive and blah blah blah. But no, that's all peanuts to space, as Douglas Adams said. It's mind-bogglingly huge. No, that makes a lot of sense, and that adds layers to the gameplay that you don't see, which is a lot of in other games, which is great. And again, I gotta thank you for the exploration focus, because oh my God, I wish more games did exploration well, because there's such a thrill to it. There's such a thrill to the discovery.
Yeah, I agree, and I really enjoyed No Man's Sky for the exploration focus. However, what I was missing in No Man's Sky is that when you land on the first planet, for instance, you have to scramble to find parts of your ship. And after 10 minutes or so, a squadron of ships flies over. And that's something that really took me out of the experience, because I want to feel lonely in space, all alone, and there's nobody there. That's the feeling you will get in Earth Analog. You're totally alone in a really tiny ship, and it's all up to you.
Oh man, yeah, because so there are no aliens either. It's just you. Am I getting that correct?
There are aliens.
Oh,
it's a story-based game, so I won't spoil anything. But
okay,
you will not fight them like in a space shooter game or something.
Right. Because yeah, the scenes you have in the trailer here, and that's all I've basically been able to see really is the trailer, are very lonely. They're very that's a really good word for it, is lonely. They're very, you're by yourself. You're flying through caves. You know, you're not talking to anybody. You're solving puzzles and things. And
you're lonely.
I kind of like that because like space is so vast, and yet so many other games it's like full of, you can't go anywhere without running into another ship or another, you know, and that's fine, you know, for other games, but like this kind of game sounds like it's really trying to do something different, which I really appreciate because you have to do something different with all the games coming out these days. You know, you have to really.
Well, it's also fair to say that with exploration as a focus, if you're the only ship around, you're the one doing the exploring. If there are other ships around, it doesn't make that much sense that you'd be exploring when there's a lot of other ships around you.
That's what kills me in other games.
Yeah.
Like, I'm flying around, there's this fog of war, but there's a million other ships around. Like, why do I have to do this fog of war when there's a million other ships around that I've already seen everything? That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I get it from a gameplay perspective and a making the universe feel alive perspective. I'm not knocking those games that do that, but that's one thing that's always bugged me about a lot of space games. It's like you start with a lone ship and there's a big map and you don't know the map, but there's a million other ships going around that do know the map. Can't you buy a map from them? Can't you know, or something? For God's sakes,
trade GPS information,
right? Or you'd think there'd be like a system of satellites giving everyone all this navigational data so no one would run into each other, no one would get lost, or blah blah blah. But no, figure it out, dum dum. Like, wait, this makes no sense. Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I am with you there. And so so with this one, you don't have to like craft anything or build your ship or anything, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
You already have basically all the technology.
Oh,
However, it's possible to upgrade ship systems. You'll find upgrades during the game, which
like
will unlock certain, like for instance, this
like the
device,
dimension,
which you can change.
Dimension device. Yeah, right.
And you will find boosters and stuff like that.
Oh, good.
Or a way to survive near a star. But your ship is with you there, and it will not change, basically.
In a way, that's kind of a relief, because the thing that usually... I tried No Man's Sky many times, and I dig it. I love what it's trying to do, but it's like, I don't want to build anything. I don't want to craft anything. Just give me a ship and let me go. That's all I want. Just give me a ship, let me fly it, and let me just go and find stuff. That's all I want to do. I don't want to build a base. I don't want to craft a new engine or any of that nonsense. I know a lot of people love that, but that is not me. And so that gets me even more excited for this, to be perfectly honest. Piratical over on YouTube is asking when we can play this. And I think you've slated it for Q1 of next year.
Yeah, so the plan is Q1 next year, but a bit depends on the new Elite Dangerous release. I think they will also release in Q1. So it might not be a good idea to release the next day, you know.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, they got their Space Legs upgrade coming, where you can walk around and stuff, which everyone says they want. But then you get it, and you're like, "No, I didn't want this. I don't want to run around a damn space station to do one thing." So I'm very dubious about their Space Legs upgrade, honestly. But you're right; that is a big deal. That is going to be a big deal when that comes out.
But I'm aiming for Q1. So basically, I got most of the game is done. I'm just working on polishing and maybe add some localization.
How long have you been working on? How long have you been working on it?
I think about a year or two.
Oh wow, That's actually pretty quick.
Yeah, well, I'm doing it in my spare time also, by the way. So it's in the spare hours.
Right.
I've been working with the technology for a longer time. So
I see. Now sorry, go ahead.
I want to say it's an old technology, but it requires a good GPU to generate the visuals. So
I would imagine.
Now it's possible, but you still will need a good GPU for this.
Like, what would you say is the minimum GPU for this thing?
Well, I've taken my own GPU as the minimum, which is GeForce 1060 GTX.
Okay,
That should be able to run it.
That's still that's a very reasonable card in this day and age. Still, like a lot of people. I know a lot of people who still haven't upgraded from the 10 series.
Yeah, so that's the thing to take into account.
Right. Okay. That's cool. And now, is the entire engine custom, or is this like built? I might have missed this earlier, and again, I'm half asleep, so I apologize. But is the entire engine custom, or is it part of this fractal thing you have in Unity, or what's going on with the? Oh no!
No, it's entirely custom. Yeah.
Wow.
So
that is great because. Go ahead.
Made some games before. This is just a continuation of that.
Oh, what other games have you made?
I made a game about driving a train. It was called Hyper Train.
I think I've seen that one. Okay. Wait a minute. That sounds very familiar. That sounds very.
It was a train driving game. So there was a hyper train driving game. So you had to go with a lot of high speed through landscapes and evade objects and other trains.
Oh yeah, I have this on my wish list.
Hey, well, that's great.
No, yeah, I've heard about this one. It looks really neat. Is it a similar technology to what you're using for Earth Analog? Because
it's totally different.
Oh, okay.
The hypertrain is a more conventional way of rendering stuff, with polygons. This uses ray marching, which is kind of like a ray tracing algorithm.
Wait, ray marching? Did you say?
Ray marching.
I've never heard of that before.
It's a known technique, and it's used, for instance, in the PC demo scene. They use it a lot. It's also often used to generate clouds, which you see in video games, volumetric graphics.
Huh.
This game uses this for everything except for the cockpit.
So how big is the universe you get to fly around in this game? Is it like a lot of systems or a few systems with a lot of detail? How much exploration are we looking to get out of this thing?
The plans are all handmade. So I generated them with algorithms and everything. There's about 30.
Ooh, okay.
At the moment. So I'm planning to add more later on. But for the main quest, so there's a main quest you have to follow to visit about 30 planets. And there will be some side planets. Because part of the game is also, like I said, you have to upgrade your ship. You have to maintain your ship systems, repair. You also have to do some resource management because your ship needs some fuel. You need some water to survive. You need some resources to be able to fix your ship. So you have to find those resources on the planets as well. That's another gameplay aspect. A bit of finding resources, scanning, repairing.
I do love
drilling.
that.
So you have to drill for resources.
No, I'm good with that. I love some good space mining. No, I'm all on board for that, or probing or whatever. Finding resources.
If you get bored finding resources, you can also use your probe. You have a probe on board, which you can instruct to look for a certain resource, and it will do that. Oh, you
But
have some
I'm-
assistance here.
But I'm guessing you looking for it yourself is more effective than the probe.
Yeah, probably. But you can while you're looking for, let's say, an artifact somewhere, the probe can look for water. You don't have to do that anymore. So it's a handy addition. You will find the probe later on in the game, but you get fed up with mining.
Oh, so you don't start with the probe. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's something you find later on.
Okay. Do you ever get out of the ship like at all, or are you always in the
No.
cockpit?
Always in the cockpit. Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay.
Don't
That's
have any
all-
legs. You're
good.
in a wheelchair.
No, I appreciate that because sometimes I don't want to get out of the cockpit. So I mean I appreciate that.
It could be something I would add later on. Except the scale at which the game plays out is real planet scale. The planets themselves, the terrain changes. It's large scale, and it's not really interesting to get out of the cockpit. Yeah, you can walk around and maybe see the hills from first person, but there isn't much detail up close. Or there are no leaves of grass or something like that. So it's not really interesting to basically walk around, I think.
No, that makes sense. Someone
I
just
suppose something like that would be remote control of a probe, for example. Rather than getting out of your ship per se, you're just looking into a monitor, and the viewpoint is from the camera's drone. That
That could be an idea.
that's the sort of thing where you don't necessarily have to be out of your ship to do that.
Yeah,
That's an idea.
That's a nice idea.
I like
Only
that.
the probe is just an automatic robot. You gave an instruction from, well, find some water for me. It will go out and it will come back with the coordinates. I like the idea of controlling the probe directly. But yeah, get it in some cave or something and navigate it around a small cave.
In the chat, someone said, "Imagine getting out of your ship and watching it be swallowed by the landscape." That sounds, that's another reason not to get out of your ship. But apparently, that's the thing that can happen in another game called The Outer Wilds. I don't know if I want to play that now.
That must be a really good game for a lot of positives about it.
Yeah, I have too, honestly. But watching my ship get swallowed by the landscape does not sound like something I want to see. That sounds horrifying. that sounds Sand Planet? Oh God, no thank you. No thank you. Yeah, I want my ship not to be swallowed by sand. Oh God. Ugh. Be like one of those old cartoons where you park in quicksand or something. Even though you never see quicksand in real life. We were in cartoons all over the place when you were a kid.
Well, your ship won't be swallowed, but
Thank God.
when you use this dimension device, the surroundings change, and you really have to watch out not to collide with the changing environment.
Oh, can that happen? Can you like get knocked
that's one
around?
of the dangers. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, if you get hit by a mountain or something, that's bad.
Oh yeah. So should you do the dimension device? I keep wanting to call it dimension drive because that's a game. Can you use the dimension device like while you're in midair, or do you have to land to use it?
You have to be within 1 kilometer of terrain to start it, but then you can fly away.
Oh, okay. So you can start it and then get the hell out of there, watch the result, and then land again.
Yeah, that's most of the times that's the best thing to do.
Okay.
There's also a mechanism in the game is that it's called have these dark energy zones. So I'm hearing a strange noise.
Okay, I'm sorry you can hear that. That is a car of my neighbor. who starts it every day at 6:30 a.m. And it's one of the most annoying things about living here. Like, I love where I live, but that guy starting up that horrible machine every day at 6:30 a.m.
It's a monster truck.
I don't know what the hell. I think it's like a Dodge with a big ass engine in it, and it's annoying. And it's every day. It's every freaking day. And I'm sorry that the mic picked that up. I apologize for that. I've been trying to do more push to talk stuff, but I forgot to do the push to, silence myself. So I apologize for that, y'all.
I was talking about the dark energy.
Yeah, dark energy. Yeah.
It's another concept in the game is that you fly with your normal engine and you have normal thrust. There are patches in the world or around objects which have dark energy, and your ship can use that to accelerate. While you're in such a zone, you can accelerate even faster. And if you get good at it, you can go from A to B just by using these patches without using any your main engine.
Oh.
That's something to make the flying more exciting, and give you a way to escape a changing terrain more easily.
Damn. So that gives your engines like not necessarily a boost, but it gives you like, I guess maybe it is a boost.
It's a boost. It's a local boost. If you fly out of the zone, then you don't have the benefit anymore. So.
Oh, I see.
There's for instance.
Go ahead. Sorry.
A good thing about it, I think, is that because the dark energy is around matter, if you want to use the dark energy for your velocity, you have to fly close to the ground. It makes it more exciting.
Okay, so you can't just find it anywhere. That makes sense. It encourages you to go down to the planets.
Yeah.
Good.
Correct.
And so how many, like, in the trailer here, like, it looks like we have, I think in the trailer there's like 4 or 5 different types of planets. Like, one looks like a completely ocean planet, and one looks like it's a bunch of like Incan ruins or something. How many different types of planets are in the game so far? I mean, you said there are about 30 of them altogether, but like I'm talking different, like there's a jungle planet.
So you have a couple of types indeed. You have ocean worlds, you have asteroids, arid worlds, tropical worlds. I think that's it. And moons, of course. There are some planets have moons. You can also land on the moons. You can land on everything you see. So yeah, there's some diversity there, and there's the strange planets. The fractal, the really weird fractal planets. They're mostly in the tropical or arid category.
Right.
You also have lava worlds. So there's one world which is one planet which is really close to a star, and what you have to do there is you have to stay out of the sunlight. So you have to go through the caves. So you have to go subsurface to go to a certain point.
Oh.
You have to hide from the sunlight. Wherever you get in the sunlight, you're melt. That's gameplay like that. There's each world has its own way to solve the world.
I dig it. Now, well, when you're going through the story, because the game has a story. When you're going through the story, is it like a linear, like sector jumping thing where you jump from one sector to the next, kind of like FTL, or do you have a little more control as to where you go from one point to the other?
Yeah, so in the beginning, you're following the signal of another ship. So
okay.
the previous ship that went there, you're following in its path. You're basically following its beacons. So that's linear. But there's a certain point which you can go to. You can branch out to other parts of the galaxy, for instance, to find certain artifacts or technology. You always have the freedom to go anywhere, but the quest is linear.
Oh, I see.
So if you want to follow the quest, it's a linear story, but you have the possibility to branch out to other planets to do other stuff like mining or in technology or stuff like that.
And is there just the one like main story, or are there any like side quests or anything like that, or is there just the one main story?
There's only one main story. There are no side quests.
That's fair.
I think to complete the story, if you're fast, it will be about 20 hours.
That's fast. That's pretty good. I'm not fast. I'm like, I want to go over there, and I want to go like with a game like this, I want to see everything. I want to go everywhere. So it doesn't sound like it'd be 20 hours for me.
But if you want to go everywhere, it's probably more.
Yeah, I would think. But 20 hours for like a straight shot, that's still pretty good. It's still quite a bit of story gameplay right there.
I think it's enough.
So when you
find the game is sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Is slow paced, so it's not high action game. It's I'd say it's like 70% slow pace, relaxed, and then once in a while you have these high intensity parts.
And what are those? Are those like puzzle type things, like timed puzzles, or what are the high?
Don't want to spoil, but for instance, there's a planet where you and first you have to find some beacons, and you're following a signal, and you have to find some artifacts. Then suddenly an anomaly occurs, and the water level starts rising, and you get these giant waves you have to avoid. Things like that happen occasionally.
Ooh.
You have this planet with there's a Taurus planet, so not all planets are spheres. There's a planet in the shape of a donut, basically, which is physically possible. But you have one of those, and
wow.
So you're just flying there, and then suddenly something happens, and you're inside the Taurus planet. There's an inner planet. There's sometimes you will wake up from the meditation.
Oh, geez, that all sounds great. Because I mean, sometimes you want something a little more languid, a little more slow paced. Then, and it doesn't sound like there's anything like you got to get fuel and stuff, but there doesn't sound like there's any real like survival elements to this. Like you don't have to worry about like food or any of that nonsense. It just sounds like you need to worry about fuel for your ship and whatnot. Is that right?
So that's right. Yeah. So there's some, like you said, you have to collect some fuel, you have to collect some water, to collect some iron. But it's a minor gameplay loop. The focus is really on just following the quest and finding and solving the planets. That's the main focus. Flying. There's a lot of flying,
which is good. That's how it should be. Now it says on the Steam page you're gonna have full HOTAS support, which is wonderful. I have to thank you for that. But I'm sure you're going to support gamepads and mice and all. Like how do you play it when you're playing it? What do you use when you're playing it?
I use HOTAS, but also just mouse and keyboard.
Oh, okay.
Works as well. Yeah.
What I got to ask
HOTAS because.
Good. Sorry, it's hard not to interrupt when you can't see each other, folks. So it's just what happens sometimes. I apologize. Please go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was going to ask which HOTAS you have.
I have a Thrustmaster. Let's see, it's a Thrustmaster, but I don't know the exact model. I have to look it up. Okay, it's not connected right now.
Well, you're lucky.
I can look it up for you.
No, I don't need to know exactly. I was just curious. You're lucky you have one because they are very hard to find right now. What with?
Oh, I didn't know.
Well, with Microsoft Flight Simulator and then Star Wars Squadrons coming out a few months apart, there was a real rush on joysticks and HOTASes. What's the plural of HOTAS? Is it HOTASes? I don't know. But yeah, the plural of those, and now they're like almost impossible to find. So
okay, be careful with it.
So good on, yeah. Don't break it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
but it's more immersive, you know. If you use I really like flying with the HOTAS.
Oh yeah, no, I'm excited that you have HOTAS support because it's just I think it makes things better. I mean, some games like Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, when they're designed for a gamepad, that's what you use, and it's wonderful with a gamepad. But like when you have a real like good HOTAS game, like Elite does a very good job with that. For example, it's just so immersive when you have a good HOTAS experience, I think.
I think when flying is the main focus of the game, then HOTAS is just what you need.
Absolutely. Do you support multi-device? Because I have my HOTAS is 3 different devices. So do you support multiple devices for your?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, that's fine. I got a joystick here that has a rudder twist and a little throttle slider. That's fine.
The idea is that after the first release of the game, I will add. The intention is to add more stuff, and stuff like this could be candidates.
Oh, good. Yeah, because it's kind of rare for a sim to support a multi-device HOTAS like mine, sadly. But what are you gonna do?
Which game does support it?
Well, there are a few like Elite does, and like a lot of flight sims do, like Microsoft Flight Simulator does. Squadrons kind of does, but it's terrible. Jumpgate, I don't know if you ever played Jumpgate back in the day. It actually does. So yeah, there are some. And the Evercron games also support multi devices, but a lot more games are just like the one device. So that's totally fair. So you said you're planning to add more stuff once this gets released. Like, what are you thinking besides HOTAS support? What else were you thinking of adding?
Well, I promised to release a Linux version first. Well, that's the first thing I'll do. And but yeah, you know the story. There's a story in the game which could, there could be a sequel. So that's more in that department, and adding maybe some functional things, maybe some more planets or minor gameplay mechanics. I think mainly some a continuation of the story.
Okay, because like maybe you got to find another planet or some such, besides the one you found already, like another Earth analog, maybe. Because
maybe you didn't find it. I don't know.
or maybe it's just it's a great place, but it's not big enough for our current population here. We need to find another, because so much science fiction is like, oh, we ruined the Earth, we got to get out of here, and it really is going in that direction, isn't it? Oh God!
If this year is any indication, yeah.
Oh God. What do you mean this year? What do you mean this year? This decade? Hasn't 2020 been 10 years? Isn't this been a decade?
Well, March was a decade ago. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ. Oh man. I wonder if we'll look back on these 2020 podcasts and go, "Wow, they were depressed."
It was a different time.
It really. Oh man. We're all getting through, but damn. just damn. Oh man. So let's see. My brain isn't working right now, so I'm trying to think of more questions. Spaz, do you have anything? Because I need to slap myself in the face a bit.
So transcending dimensions is an aspect of the game. Will there be any sort of how should I put this? As a sequel hook, maybe transcending to in another reality.
Ooh.
Okay. I mean, yeah. What's reality? Yeah. Is the dimension you're currently in? Is that reality, or is it the other dimension? Yeah. There's no bias towards our reality. I think in this game, But maybe you'll find the Earth analog in another dimension. That could happen. Why not? Not spoiling anything here, I think. But yeah, anything's possible. I think with these dimensions. I think there's enough hooks for a possible sequel. If it works out with this first game and people like it, then I have enough ideas for a sequel.
Imagine you like tweak the dimension drive too much and you jump dimensions. Like you find the Earth for in your universe, you find the Earth analog for your people, but then like, oh, what happens if I do this? Next thing you know, you jump dimensions. It's like, oh no. Where's everything?
You travel to a dimension in which the ship that you're chasing after is your own.
Oh yeah, that's really deep.
Ooh, Inception. Bwong.
Yeah, it's basically these Christopher Nolan ideas.
This whole game is a love letter to Christopher Nolan. Well, where's Batman?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. A Batman, yeah, you're a Batman.
Oh, that's why you have this ship and all this money, because you're Batman.
Yeah. Looks like a bat,
It kind of does a little.
Damn. Oh, you spoiled the game, man.
Oh no, I ruined everything. You're really Bruce Wayne trying to find.
Some men just want to watch the world alter dimensions.
Oh, God damn it.
That's why you can't exit your spaceship. You have this bat suit on, and
That's the laugh I needed at 6:44 a.m. Oh my God.
The Christopher Nolan. I'm a big fan of Interstellar.
I've actually not seen Interstellar. I've actually still not seen that one.
Oh yeah, you should. If you like exploration, I think it strikes the right tone.
Well, let me ask you this poignant question: is it a bummer? Like, does it have a happy ending, or does it? You don't have to give me spoilers, but does it have a happy ending or a sad ending? And your answer will determine whether I'm able to watch it or not with my wife or not.
Yeah, I think it has a happy ending.
Okay.
So
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My wife has what she calls a strict no bummers policy. And so she will not watch anything that has even the merest hint of a bummer.
But it's a happy ending. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Without spoiling it, that's good to know, because I do want to watch it at some point. I don't get to see a lot. I don't get to see a lot of movies, so it's just one of those. It's just one of those I've had on my list for a long time that I've just never gotten around to.
Well, be sure to check this one out.
Yeah, I'll have to because I mean I love a good sci-fi movie and I love a good space movie. But yeah, for some reason I just haven't gotten around to seeing that one yet. But I know a lot of people who love it, so it's one I know I should see. And yeah, I can kind of see, like, from what I've seen of Interstellar, I can definitely see some nods to it here, at the very least.
Basically, the premise is the same. The Earth is, like you said, every science fiction novel starts with.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a very common sci-fi premise. That's a very, and not to knock it or your use of it, at all. It's a good sci-fi premise. That's why it keeps getting used, because I mean, just look at the world today. It's probably gonna happen.
We're on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, when we don't know, but it's probably gonna happen. Sadly. So no, it's a very good premise to draw from. So yeah, I'm not knocking it at all. But I honestly can't wait to play this thing because every time I see the ocean planet and the jungle planet that you fly over, that kind of looks like Jumanji. I really just want to. I really want to. Are you gonna? Is it gonna be straight to 1.0 when you launch? Or are you gonna do an early access launch? Like, what is your?
Oh, it's a straight 1.0.
Wow. Okay,
I think early access doesn't fit. It's a story-based game.
That's fair.
Basically, and that doesn't match with early access. And I also don't like, early access. And lately, it's gotten a bit of a bad taste.
Oh yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I personally don't buy early access games anymore.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't, and I can't blame you. I love it myself, but I love it myself, but because I love seeing how the sausage is made, and I love seeing how games change and evolve on the way to 1.0. But at the same time, there is definitely a fatigue around it. There is definitely an early access fatigue. And there have been so many games that have just done early access wrong. They've been like, oh, we need money. Let's do it early access. Oh, we're never going to finish it.
Indeed. And they just abandon the game,
Oh, God,
if it doesn't work out.
Yeah,
I did some testing. I've got a group of testers, play testers. So it's a bit of like having a small early access
right.
people.
Yeah, exactly.
They really help me with ironing out the issues.
Oh, that's good. You need that.
Having good flight mechanics. That's some people are really sensitive about flight mechanics. Oh yeah, there's a lot of attention has been paid in getting good flight mechanics for the game. So what the game also has, it's have the different flight modes. So outside the atmosphere, you have a different flight mechanics than inside the atmosphere. You can also see this in the ship. The wings are folded. When you go out of the atmosphere, and the ship behaves differently, so more will be more inertia. There won't be any atmospheric drag. So the flying is totally different in the airless world. You have to take that into account. It can be quite difficult actually,
right,
to fly without an atmosphere, and some systems it is a challenge.
Well, you definitely, when you said you're not doing early access, you definitely got some people interested in the chat because so many games do early access, and that's not a knock on them trying to do early access. If early access is done well, and a lot of times it is, if early access is done well, it really works out great for the game and for its player base. But, there's something to be said for just going for the straight 1.0 shot. And,
Yeah, well, what's the difference? I mean, if I do a 1.0 and just continue updating the game, it's there are different expectations. From an early access game, you would expect to be bugs or unfinished gameplay. There's a difference, of course, but after the 1.0, I will still be polishing the game, fixing things, adding things.
Right, and that's exactly how it should be. That's exactly how it should be. And you also got.
And it doesn't.
Sorry, go ahead.
Doesn't work with a story-based game. I think early access model.
There are a lot of story-based games that are in early access. There's this one, Weirmind, very story-driven. I mean, the story can go on all these different branches, sure, but it's very story-driven, and it's early access. It's like, why would I play this in early access? I don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah, but is it a game you would replay? So if you finish the game once, would you replay?
That's a good point. That's a good point. I think maybe. I don't know.
If that isn't the case, then you're playing a alpha version of the game, basically.
Oh, that's true.
You're not playing the finished game, so
the chat also. Sorry, the chat also is excited that you have a linear story, because a lot of games, so many games these days, try to be this big, massive, open world. Open world. 100 hours extravaganza, and there's really something to be said for a focused narrative. It seems like mostly adventure games get that, and other story-based games. You don't see that a lot. You don't see as much in the space game realm these days. So
that's basically in the first version of the game, it was more open-ended. But I had one playtester who really convinced me that I should just focus on the adventure, because it's something. It's not something that's done often. You could say basically the game is a Metroidvania if you look at it. Game in gameplay with a gameplay glasses on, it's a bit of a Metroidvania in space. You're unlocking stuff. You're finding keys. You're gaining technology.
it's all first person in a spaceship rather than like jumping around levels on one planet.
So, if I would call it Metroidvania, a lot of people would cringe, but technically it is.
No, that analogy for me. I mean, for me, when you said that's like, oh god, it is. It's exactly right. Exactly what this game is. That is a great analogy.
Yeah, nothing wrong with using the concept, just implementing it differently.
Yeah, exactly. And this is quite a different implementation.
Well, yeah. Hope you will like it. It's a different game.
It looks different, but that's to its benefit, I think, because again, I mean, we're in another golden age of gaming, especially with space games. There have been so many good space games coming out, which is wonderful. But like at the same time, you got to do something different to stand out, like we said earlier. And you seem to be doing something really quite different. So I got to give you props for that, and I cannot wait to play this once it's finally available. Hopefully Q1 of next year. We should probably start wrapping up, actually. So yeah, friends, the game is I haven't been my best podcaster today, so I apologize. I admit I'm not at my best this morning. But the game is Earth Analog. You can currently wishlist it on Steam. It is the planned release date is, as we said, Q1 of next year, 2021. And it looks like it has a lot going for it. If you want something more story-driven or something with more exploration, then maybe your typical space game. And again, getting exploration right in a space game is rare and awesome when it happens. So this looks like it's going to do it, and I cannot wait for it. So Roy, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and out of your spare time working on this to talk to us about it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been the best host this morning. I really apologize. I've just been I'm not feeling great today. So I apologize for not being as on it as I might be otherwise. But folks, I gotta get something. My stomach is feeling better, so hopefully I can actually take some coffee now. So folks, since we're doing a morning podcast, if all goes well, we'll do our usual stream today at 4 p.m. when we're flipping things around. And so today for our stream, we were given keys for Slytherin's new real-time strategy game, ICBM. And so we're going to try that today at 4 p.m. Pacific time. But that'll do it for this episode. Again, Roy, thank you so much for hanging with us. And folks, again, the game is Earth Analog. Go wishlist it on Steam. It looks really awesome, especially if you're into space exploration games, which we all should be. And drink water and juice more than water, and eat some oatmeal with no sugar. No, that's not a bad idea. I think we might have some juice. I'll have to take a look. But thank you for that. Have a great day, everyone. We will see you all later.